It's coming to that point in the semester where I'm running out of teaser content. I honestly don't know how Siobhan used to do it every single week. It's mentally exhausting. I vote that next week Charlie attempts to write it and see how hard it is. Hello, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm Charlie Hug. Personally, I don't see what all the fuss is about. You just say your name, say something witty, and then pass it over to old Reliable. What is hard, though, is saying you're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explore Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. A10 started this week for some of our winter sports. Lacrosse is back in full swing, and we have all the tea on Explore Athletics right here.
And later, SportsLine reporter John Freeman sat down with both the men's and women's basketball teams to talk about their games this week.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, the LaSalle women's lacrosse team won their first game since the 2022 season this past Friday. The Explorers took a convincing 19-10 win over Fairleigh Dickinson to open their 2024 campaign.
Number 2, the men's 200-yard medley relay team broke the LaSalle school record in the A10 championships this weekend. The relay team of Tarek Gusick, Andrea Savoca, Felix Jedbrat, and Carter Perkins swam the event in 1 minute and 26.26 seconds, beating the record by 1 second and 1.98 seconds.
Number 3, Mackenzie Click has been named NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week this week. The senior attacker tallied 4 goals, 1 assist, and 15 draw controls in the women's lacrosse 19-10 win over Fairleigh Dickinson University last Friday.
All right, so I feel like it would kind of be a little bit unfair to not talk about lacrosse, seen as though they are 2 of our top 3s. So I'm really excited that they won their game against Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm excited that they finally have a win under their belt since the 2022 season. Last season was super rough for them. So I'm glad to see that they're back. They've kind of regained maybe some of the cohesion with the team, and so I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, definitely a rough year last year, and then first game back, not only did they get a win by almost double-digit points, but they have 2 players nominated for NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week. So Mackenzie Click won with her 4 goals, assists, and 15 draw controls, which was something that the lacrosse team really struggled with last year, so that was encouraging. Mm-hmm. But then Katie Johnson, who didn't win, scored 6 goals, had an assist, and so she did her own thing too. Very encouraging game from the first one back. So
yeah, it's super impressive, like you said, 15 draw controls, and just to see them kind of back in action. And then men's swimming and diving breaking the A10 record for the school is super impressive. So, absolutely. But we'll get into it later. But that's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. Last Saturday, the LaSalle men's basketball team secured a crucial win against the Massachusetts Minutemen, snapping a 5-game losing streak. The victory, marked by a well-rounded offensive effort, stands as LaSalle's highest-ranking NCAA net ranking win of the season. Khalil Brantley continued his exceptional form, earning his 7th straight double-digit scoring game and securing his 2nd double-double in just 10 days. Brantley's 14 points and 10 rebounds contributed to an impressive 19th double-double this season and 58th in his career. Deshaun Shepard had a standout game, scoring 19 points, just 3 shy of his career high. Anwar Gill added 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, while Jameer Brickus tied for the team-high 19 points and added 6 assists. LaSalle would come out on top with an 82-81 victory. This Explorer win showed dominance over UMass, marking their 3rd victory in the last 4 matchups. Last night, men's basketball secured their 2nd straight win, defeating St. Bonaventure. LaSalle started the game off hot, hitting 4 3-pointers before the first media timeout. With efforts from both Jameer Brickus and Deshaun Shepard, the Explorers were up 16-9. The Bonnies came back, scoring the next 8 points, giving them a 17-16 lead. With the help of Ryan Zan, the Explorers took the lead back. Both teams traded baskets before LaSalle exploded to end the first half. The Explorers went on a 9-2 run, ending the first with a 36-28 lead. LaSalle started the half gaining a double-figures lead with help from Brickus. St. Bonaventure answered back, cutting the lead to 38-34. Brickus and Rokas Yoshis came back bucket to bucket, extending the lead by 9. Khalil Brantley also scored back-to-back buckets following 2 free throws from the Bonnies. St. Bonaventure fought back 2 more times but were shut down by the Explorers. The Explorers scored 10 straight points, including back-to-back frees from Tunde Valberg Fasasi, and Shepard punctured the run with a slam dunk, setting a new career high of 23 points. LaSalle ended the game strong with a final score of 72-59.
LaSalle women's basketball suffered a tough loss to St. Joseph Hawks, marking their 5th straight defeat, with a 7-18 record overall and 4-10 in conference play. The Hawks opened the scoring within the first minute. However, the Explorers worked hard to obtain a lead. Nicole Melius' layup, assisted by Jolene Armendaris, gave LaSalle a 5-4 lead. Molly Massantonio's free throw added to the lead, ending the first quarter 6-4 in favor of LaSalle. The second quarter brought more offense, with the Hawks initially scoring 6 straight points. Michaela Miller responded with a driving layup, and both teams engaged in a back-and-forth scoring. A dramatic three-pointer from Armendaris as the game clock expired sent the teams into halftime, with the Hawks leading 19-17. The third quarter saw St. Joseph's take control, embarking on a 13-2 run to extend their lead. Despite Miller's consistent offensive efforts for LaSalle, the Hawks led 39-26 at the end of the third quarter. Unfortunately, the Explorers could not close the gap in the final quarter. Struggling to make shots, LaSalle was held to 3 points from Miller's three free throws. St. Joseph's secured the win with a final score of 60-29. It was then time for the women to travel to Virginia to take on the University of Richmond. The Explorers started off hot, putting up 3 points straight off the bat. A turnover from the Spiders led to Molly Massantonio finding Jolene Armendaris, allowing her to knock down a three-pointer. This, combined with a shot from Tiara Bolden, put the Explorers in the lead 6-0. The Spiders would eventually make it on the board with a 3, but Nicole Melius would clap right back with a 3 of her own, making the score 9-3 for the Explorers. Just when the Explorers were on the rise, the Spiders would go on a 9-0 run of their own. Gabby Turco would score late to try to save the lead for the Explorers, but 2 free throws from the Spiders would send them leading 14-11 going into the second. Richmond started the second strong, going on a 5-0 run before Bolden and Massantonio would contribute 2 3-pointers to bring LaSalle within 2. From there, the Spiders would explode offensively and would end the quarter, outscoring the Explorers 18-4. Richmond would keep their momentum going into the second half, with 3 of their players combining 22 points in the third quarter alone. For a game that started off looking promising for the Explorers, it quickly slipped through their fingers, and they would lose to the Richmond Spiders 54-74.
Water polo headed to Princeton, New Jersey over the weekend to participate in the Princeton Invitational. The women took on San Diego State on Saturday. The game was off to a slow start with only 1 goal from the Aztecs in the first quarter. LaSalle came out in the second quarter with a bit more energy, putting 2 goals on the board from Francesca Coe and Sofia Kolovo. But it wasn't enough, and SDSU still led 4-2 heading into the half. The third quarter was a bit of a tug-of-war match, with both teams going back and forth. Kolovo was able to go goal for goal with the Aztecs in the beginning, bringing the score to 4-6. SDSU was determined to keep their lead and scored another goal to bring the deficit back up to 3 for the Explorers. They would each score another goal in the quarter, making it 8-5 heading into the final stretch. Kolovo had 1 other goal in the beginning of the fourth that was immediately matched by a goal from San Diego in the final 4 minutes of the game. A goal from freshman Martina Bonet-Saez and Kolovo were made in the attempt to save the game, but it was too late and the Explorers lost 10-8. It was then time to take on the Harvard Crimson on Sunday. Francesca Coe led the Explorers off to a strong start, putting up the first goal of the game. The rest of the quarter was slow until Harvard exploded with 3 goals at the end of the first. Harvard kept the same energy going into the second and scored 2 more goals, making the score 5-1. A goal from both Coe and Kolovo attempted to cut the lead, but Harvard scored again and led 6-3 going into the half. Both teams had 1 goal in the third, with Coe putting up another goal for the Explorers, but it was a scoreless fourth quarter that sealed the deal for the Explorers, while the Crimson scored 5, making the final score 12-4.
The LaSalle lacrosse team kicked off their 2024 campaign against Fairleigh Dickinson this past weekend. It was a great start for the Explorers offensively, scoring 2 goals in under 2 minutes to start the game, with Mackenzie Click and Katie Johnson leading the charge. It wouldn't take long for the Knights to tie it up, however, and by the 30-second mark in the period, the Explorers would find themselves in a 6-2 deficit. Click would find the goal once more with 14 seconds left, however, and the game would head into the second with a score of 6-3. Coming out of the break, Click would snag an assist from junior Alana Lathan to net her 3rd goal of the game, securing her first hat trick of the season in just over 15 minutes. A high-scoring quarter from the Explorers would bring them back into the game, but answers from the Knights would keep it close, as goals by Johnson, Gina D'Angelo, and Ellen Stickney would ultimately make it a 9-9 game. As the game approached halftime, Alana Lathan was able to put another Explorer point on the board with 20 seconds left. On the ensuing draw, Maddie Henderson would gain control and run it down the field to score, giving the Explorers an 11-9 lead at the half. Coming out of the half, the Explorers would make a change in goal, starting freshman Brooke Nelson. It was the offense that would be the story of the second, however, as they would keep the scoring up in the third with a total of 4 throughout the frame. D'Angelo, Lathan, Click, and Johnson would all score again in the period. Johnson kept her foot on the pedal in the fourth, scoring 3 more in the period to end the day with a total of 6 goals and 2 assists. Lathan would also score her fourth goal of the day as the defense held the Knights to just 1 goal in the second half. At the end of the game, the Explorers would find themselves in the win column for the first time since April 16, 2022, winning the game 19-10. It was then back to McCarthy Stadium for their first home game of the year against Villanova. The game started close with Villanova striking first just over 2 minutes into the period. Junior Gina D'Angelo would draw a foul, sending her to the 8-meter line where she would tie up the game shortly after. The Wildcats, however, would go on a 5-0 run to end the quarter, bringing the game into a second period 6-1. Mackenzie Click would come out of the break and score her 5th goal of the season off an assist from Alana Lathan to make it a 6-2 game. This would be the only Explorer goal in the period as the Wildcats would score 5 more times and take an 11-2 lead into the half. Defensively, the Explorers looked much more sound coming out of the half. However, their offense continued to struggle. That was until senior Claudia Steinmetz secured the ball on a face-off circle and ran down the length of the field through a slew of defenders to put a shot in the top left corner. The defense would held the Wildcats to just 2 more goals in the third period, making it a 13-3 deficit heading into the fourth. Once again, the defense would play well, allowing only 1 goal in the final 15 minutes, but junior Ellen Stickney would be the only Explorer to score on the offensive end, and LaSalle would ultimately lose the game by a score of 14-4.
All right, a lot happening this week. I want to kind of shift to our basketball teams that are kind of going in a bit of a comparison with each other. This week, the men's basketball team broke their 5-game losing streak, winning both of their games against UMass and St. Bonaventure. And now the women lost both of their games this week and have now started a 5 or 6 game losing streak. So I think it's really interesting watching both of these teams because they kind of like bounce off each other. Either one's doing really good and the other one's kind of like needs to pick it up, and then they flip-flop back and forth, and it's never like consistency with both of them. Yeah,
I mean, we'll start with the men's team. A lot of 2 huge wins this weekend. UMass had a couple big wins that they were coming off of. They looked like a hot team coming into this game, and for LaSalle to go and beat them like that, that was awesome. And then St. Bonaventure is coming into the game as 5-point favorites, and we won by 20. There's a lot of promising stuff you're seeing, and again, we saw it this time last year. It's like right as you're going towards A10s, they're starting to pick it up, and they're showing some flashes. It's just if they can keep it going into the playoffs and make a run, that would be great. But yeah, the women still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think the women they start off so well. Every single game you look at it, they start off strong offensively, they start off strong defensively, and they just lose it somewhere in between. And once that second half hits, they've lost their energy, they lose their momentum, they lose something within them. But like you said, the men are definitely showing, and they do have that A10 stride where when it starts to creep up on them, they kind of get like a little bit of a kick, and they start to really move forward. You had a bunch of impressive points this week with Deshaun Shepard hitting a career high of 23. You also have Khalil Brantley hitting double digits in both points and assists and rebounds. And so it is really impressive to just watch this team take it to the next level. But the women I know they have it in them, and you see, like with Molly Massantonio and Jolene Armendariz, they have that talent there. They just need to try to use it.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing the impact of the seniors that they lost. The Jacobs sisters, all 3 of them, it's almost like as soon as they left, they just seem lost in some way. But like you said, they definitely have the talent to do it, and a lot of the talent is young. So if it's not this year, hopefully they can keep building and get used to the system and come out next year and perform a little better than they had hoped this year.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on to lacrosse, definitely impressive. I know we talked about them earlier, beating Fairleigh Dickinson, and it's a tough loss against Villanova. But they are impressive, and they've definitely come out, like you said, with a bit more of an energy this season, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, the loss to Villanova was tough, and I was there. You could see the girls, they were really distraught. There was one that they, especially with a rival so close, they wanted to perform better. But if you look in comparison to last season, last year they let up 16 or 19 goals to Villanova. It was a much higher scoring game. Their defense settled in a little bit in the second half, which looked good. And just the whole season, the offense has been scoring. Again, 4 points in Villanova, that's a different story. But 19 points in the first game, I mean, and 6 from one player, 4 from another. They're really catching their stride, and it looks like Hopefully. I mean, they have their win, so they're better than last season, but I think they'll definitely start to pick up and perform a lot better than we saw last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we got the inside look at 2 of our Explorer basketball games this week. Stay tuned.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Did you know that listening to music, enjoying art, or simply holding hands can boost your cognition? Like me, you want to maintain brain health for as long as possible. I'm Kevin Jameson, President of the Dementia Society of America. Please request our free guide filled with 10 building blocks to better brain health, care planning, and facts about dementia. Visit our website at 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call us at 1-800-DEMENTIA. You want to live life to the fullest, and our free guide can help.
Welcome back. SportsLine reporter John Freeman got the inside look into the women's basketball game against St. Joe's and then the men's win last night against St. Bonaventure. Let's see what they have to say.
A couple good games here. This one, 23 points. Sort of, what's gotten you back into this groove offensively?
When we won that losing streak, it was bothering me a lot because if we need to have a good game, I need to be involved in it. And I knew that those 2 games was a rough struggle for me because I felt like I let my team down. So I knew I needed to play more for my team, and that's what I've been doing the last couple games. So hopefully we make a run after this.
And it's not just obviously you're known for the vertical dunking, but the 3-pointers come along too this year. Sort of, what have you been working on midway through the year with that? Just getting shots up, is that like a volume thing?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of shots up with the coaches, and just whenever I got free time, I get shots up. I've been working on my jump shot, and it's been developing a lot, so I'm really happy with that part.
Shep, you guys shot a lot of 3-pointers early. Was that kind of the game plan going into this game?
Yeah, we usually put up a lot of 3-pointers. If we're open, we take them because all of our guys trust each other to shoot, so that's kind of what we went into today.
You guys held them 56 points. I mean, they're, I believe, 3rd place in the league. Kind of talk about your defensive effort there.
Our defensive was good. Donnie Carr had a scout all week on 10 down and vending because we knew he was the main scorer in the post, and I felt like we did really good with him. And that kind of messed up their offense, so that's why we had a great defensive night tonight.
And I know there's no easy games in this league. You're going to take it one game at a time, but a couple opportunities here maybe to get yourself off the mat. Maybe try and avoid that Tuesday in Brooklyn. Maybe just start Wednesday. You guys sort of looking at that to sort of propel you here towards the end?
Yeah, we're looking to go on a run. Just like last year, we were in the same list, one of the 5 losses, and then we win and then we lose. So we don't want that to happen the rest of the year. We want to win the rest of the games we have left. So that's the goal.
Thank you. Thanks, Shep.
So it's really nice to get to hear from Shep. He started off slow. He's probably one of our best talents on the team, and he's really finding his own. During this 2-game win streak this week, he's had great games, and he's probably been the player of the game for both times. So it's nice to get to see what he had to say after the game, and really it's more encouraging to see him finally step up into that role that he could be and should be in. I know Coach Fran Dunphy is a big fan of Shepard, and he said he's one of the most athletic guys that he's ever coached. And so it's nice to see him finally performing up to the standard that I think he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like every week we're talking about Deshaun Shepard, and it was really exciting for him to get his career high points against the game against St. Bonaventure. And like you said, UMass was a big win for them, and it's super impressive just to see the points that these guys are putting up, because like I said, they did have that little lag there for a second where they weren't putting up the points that we know they can. And so it is really exciting to see them kind of coming back and doing what we know that they're capable of doing. Like you said, Deshaun Shepard is a very, very athletic person. Like, it's just he's on the court, he's amazing, and so it's just really exciting. You have these phenomenal games that come out of it, and it's super exciting to watch.
Yeah. And he's finally getting his 3-ball down too, which is encouraging. You know, and it's coming at the perfect time. But let's take a look at what the women's team had to say after St. Joe's.
Nice little throw.
Yep.
There's a reason they have their best start after 25 games ever. That is a really talented team. I was really pleased with our team's execution. We need to play the game a little bit differently to be in the game against them and to be there and have a basket away without us being able to make a shot. I really feel bad for our girls. You know, they're putting in the time, putting in the work, shooting well in practice, and you know, we're struggling a little bit in the games, and I know that hurts them. And you know, we shoot 35% today. It's a totally different game. The pressure's on them late in that game. But at 21%, it's a game we can't win. You know, credit to the St. Joe's defense too, but I do think these ladies executed what we wanted them to do really well. They found a mismatch. We got good looks, and you know, maybe we'll get them a third time.
Coach, a bit different kind of approach to this game. You kind of really slowed it down in the beginning. I saw probably one of the lowest scoring, you know, quarters in like women's basketball this year. Was that like just a strategy for this game, kind of just to slow things down and, you know, run your sets and execute them?
Well, it's been the strategy recently, especially against teams at the top of the conference, because we've been a little hampered by injuries, a little short, and we want to keep the game in striking distance and have a chance to win. And we find that this is the best way to do it.
Okay, can you talk a little bit in the first half about the defensive interior defense? Do you think how much that allowed you to stay in the game at that point?
You're talking about
Our interior defense against St. Joe's.
I thought for the most part our team really locked in and followed the game plan. I mean, the game plan was to try to have the paint and make them skip the ball a lot, and I thought we did that. That's why we were able to limit them and stay within striking distance.
Yeah, last game we gave up 52 points to their 4 and their 5, and this game we gave up 16.
Yeah, I thought Joe Oliver 4s and 5s, even though they're guards, they played really hard and they really gave it their all when they were guarding Rubler and Ziegler, in my opinion.
Was that a focal point going into the game?
If someone shoots 91% against you one game, you should probably try to do something about that the next game. And she was 5 for 12 today, so I'd call that a success in that regard. And the team was focused on it. But, you know, to their credit, I think Ziegler won and Rubler the other. They came down first 2 baskets of the third quarter. That's what we were trying to take away, and they got us, and they gave them life, and then they got us helping and buried the skip, which we were living with. You know, the plan was to make them skip the ball multiple times, and I thought we did that well. We just couldn't get it done on the other end.
Michaela, what do you think was the biggest difference between, you know, this game and then the last game where you played with St. Joe's on MLK Day?
I thought they were kind of similar in my opinion, but I thought for the most part, this time we actually locked in on defense. You know, if you remember back to MLK, they kind of like ran it up in the third quarter, and you know, we kind of like hung our heads. In my opinion, in the third quarter here, it was still in striking distance. I think when we went into the fourth, we were only down
11.
So we were staying right there with them, in my opinion. So the fight was still there.
I don't know if anybody has a box in front of them. I think it was the exact same halftime deficit, third quarter deficit, as it was last game. And what was the spread of the last one? It might have been the same in the end. It was really a carbon copy game, and that's what we need to get out of Groundhog's Day. You know, we put ourselves in that halftime position where we're in a good spot, and we got to find a way to be in that same spot, like we were against Duquesne, in that same spot at the end of the game.
It's always so good to just see what they have to say after the game. So I want to shout out John Freeman. Thank you for being there courtside for all the games and getting this footage for us. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have all of next week's upcoming games. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We've got another week of LaSalle sports coming up, so here's what you have to look forward to. Men's basketball will take on Rhode Island at home on Sunday. They will then travel to Pittsburgh on Wednesday to take on the Duquesne Dukes. The women are set to take on VCU at home on Saturday for their senior day, and later in the week will take on St. Louis on Wednesday at home at 6:30. Lacrosse's season is in full swing, and they will travel to New York on Saturday to take on Manhattan College, and then will hit the road again on Wednesday to take on Howard University at 3.
Swimming and diving started their A10 run yesterday and will continue over the next few days and through the weekend. Track and field is also making their appearance at the A10s this weekend at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. And water polo is set to take on Princeton tonight at Kirk Pool, and then will participate in the Harvard Invitational over the weekend, where they will take on Santa Clara, Mercyhurst, and UC Davis.
A lot of A10 play this weekend, so really exciting. I know swimming and diving and track and field are there right now as we speak, and then they're going to continue into the weekend, and then water polo also has a game, I think, as we speak at Kirk Pool, and then they're doing the Harvard Invitational over the weekend, so a lot of good stuff happening. And that just about wraps it up for this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm two-time intramural kickball champion Charlie Hugg. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.